For Tuesday, May 21st. I have quite a few changes for the agenda, so board, bear with me. I have several to add to the consent agenda. The first is 6C11, to hire a deputy clerk in the court. At 6C12, we'll ask you to hire a part-time communications officer in OPD. And you have memos for this at your places. At 6D2, ask you for permission for the Animal Resource Center to accept some generous donations. And then I have 5 items to be deleted from this agenda. If you will delete number 13, 14, 23, and 24, and 29. And then I have one addition that we'll add back at 23, which is to consider a resolution declaring part of parcel 135P-21-170 surplus, making findings to enter into an agreement to sell property to Magnolia Collection LLC for $227,450. So you don't have to take all those notes. I'll read it again when we get to it, but those are the changes that I have. Do you have anything else, Ashley?
No, ma'am, that was it.
All right, and Barb, we don't have the other addition, okay? All right, could I have a motion then to accept this agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Welcome. The first thing I'd like to do tonight is point out that our representative, Josh Hawkins, is here in the audience. And Josh, we appreciate you being here more than you know. And I have already bragged about your good work a few meetings ago in the generous financial contributions the city of Oxford and Lafayette County got during this last session. And we are so lucky to have you there and appreciate your hard work on our behalf. Last weekend was graduation and the car show, and so now welcome to Townie Time, which, you know, is great for a lot of us when you can get a parking spot in front of a restaurant downtown that you want to eat at. I've seen online some of the restaurants, you know, this is not their favorite time of year because it is slower. So I encourage everybody to get out and eat out at places you never get to go when it's more crowded, and tip your wait staff because they're having a slower few months than normal. We are in the middle of National Travel and Tourism Week. Our tourism department has different activities planned every day this week. You can go to visitoxfordms.com to see what the activities for each day are. And I know that they're having cookies and lemonade at our visitor center across from Funky's on Jackson Avenue every day this week. So stop by and see what they are doing. We went to a presentation on Monday from our travel and tourism department. And one of the most important facts that we picked up there was that the tourism industry within the city of Oxford saves every household approximately $800 a year. So if we didn't have the successful tourism industry that we have in Oxford and wanted to receive the same services and benefits that we receive as City of Oxford residents, it would cost us $800 a household more in taxes. So the tourism industry is certainly helping us move in a very positive direction. I'll ask you next to authorize the approval of the minutes of the special meeting on May 7th and the regular meeting on May 7th.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? I ask you to authorize the approval of accounts for all city departments.
Move we pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? I ask you to consider the consent agenda with the 3 additions.
Move to consider consent agenda as amended.
All right. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Ask Chief McCutcheon to come up, and we will be asked to adopt a retirement resolution for OPD employee Kevin Houston.
Thank you, Mayor. It's an honor to read this, but also bittersweet. But I'll read Kevin's resolution. It says, whereas James Kevin Houston has been a valued member of the city of Oxford, diligently serving the Oxford Police Department for over 25 years since his hire in 2000. And whereas James Kevin Houston started his service as an auxiliary officer and transitioned to a full-time officer serving as a patrol officer, field training officer, canine officer, school resource officer, court bailiff and warrant officer, SWAT team member, housing officer, patrol sergeant, patrol lieutenant, and ultimately a captain. And whereas James Kevin Houston has established himself as a respected and valued police officer through his desire to help and serve others and his love for the Oxford community. And whereas James Kevin Houston was recognized for several awards over the years, including SWAT Officer of the Year, several Community Service Awards, and Officer of the Month several times. And whereas James Kevin Houston was a beloved and trusted leader, supervisor, officer, and friend to the employees of the Oxford Police Department. And whereas James Kevin Houston developed a deep and personal relationship with the community that has had an everlasting effect for the Oxford Police Department. And whereas James Kevin Houston has made a mark on the City of Oxford Police Department and the entire Oxford community with his dedicated service that we remembered for years to come. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Oxford express their sincere appreciation and gratitude for James Kevin Houston for his work on behalf of the Oxford Police Department and the City of Oxford, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the City of Oxford, and a copy of the same be presented to Kevin on the 21st day of May of 2024. Congratulations.
The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. I didn't write a speech. Everybody kept asking me about a speech, but I didn't write one. Being a police officer is something that I've wanted to do, I guess, my entire life. Followed a dream, and excuse me, sorry. I've had a great career. Met some highs and some lows. Made some good friends, and I felt like I made an impact. Hope I did.
You absolutely did.
I'm going to miss, right now I'm a school resource officer, but I'm going to miss the kids at Bramlett. Probably been one of my best years I've had in a long time. So thank you for allowing me to work as an police officer. And goodness, it is bittersweet, but it's time to hang up my gun belt.
Well, you have served us so admirably, and your presence will certainly be missed. And we thank you for all the ball games that you missed, and the birthdays that you missed, and the nights you worked overtime. And thank you to you as well, because I know that being a police officer is not just service by the officer, but by their whole family. So thank y'all for letting him serve all of us, and that's very unselfish of you to allow him to do this job in all the different roles that he's functioned in. So thank you, Kevin, for your work, and you'll be missed.
And I didn't think to thank my family, my sister and brother-in-law, my wife. Sorry, that's all. Anyway, my son, my daughter, and my mom. So, thank y'all.
Thank you.
I love y'all.
Could I have a motion to adopt that retirement resolution?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll ask your permission for now 3 seconds retired officer Kevin Houston to be able to purchase his service weapon for $1 as allowed by state statute.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. I'll ask the board for permission to approve a parade assembly permit for the Juneteenth Street Festival on Saturday, June 15th from 2 until 8. Chief?
Yes, ma'am. So just Washington and the Boys and Girls Club and then MLK and Fifth will block off, but we got it.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to amend the fee schedule for the current 2023-24 towing service rotation agreement. Chief?
Yes, ma'am. So our request is to match what we've done on the trespass tows. So $250 for a tow and $45 a storage day fee.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission for Maggie Abernathy to hire an off-duty uniformed officer for traffic assistance on May 24th from 6 until 8 p.m.
This is a wedding request just for parking, so we can handle that. She wanted to hire someone to just help the guests be able to park and not violate any issues or parking concerns.
Great.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider a request from Goose Creek to shoot fireworks on Thursday, July 4th between 8 p.m. and 8:45 p.m. I know that Goose Creek has cleared this with the fire department. Joey, do you have any concerns? All right, do I have a motion to allow them to do that?
I so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. Now we move to number 15 on our agenda. Request permission to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract with JM Wood Auctions to sell surplus equipment from the Environmental Services Department. Amberlyn?
Yes, ma'am. These pieces of equipment have served their purpose, and they need to move on to a new home, which is in line with our plan for as we replace equipment that we surplus and sell.
All right, anybody have any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider the replacement of swings at Avent Park as recommended by the Oxford Park Commission Board. Seth?
Yes, ma'am. So to give everybody a rundown, the first 3-4 weeks, we tried to run down a bunch of local contractors, reached out to about 10, didn't really get anybody, got one to get back a quote in that time frame, so it wasn't enough, so we explored metal, and the board ultimately decided to chase the metal swing sets down, and low bid, you see the 6 we had for metal swing sets, recommended the lowest price, Mid-South Recreation.
All right, and this is an item that is not budgeted for. Our swing set fell apart, just so the board knows this is not approving an item that is already included in the budget, so there will likely need to be a budget amendment in the coming meetings to accommodate that. But Seth, thank you for, I know it was hard to find folks that are willing to do smaller jobs, so.
Well, and just so y'all know, going back metal for us, what kind of sealed the deal was Playgrounds by Leathers, who was originally the builder of the wood playground 27 years ago. They no longer build wood swing sets. So if that manufacturer didn't, we just figured metal, going back to metal would be the best
Absolutely.
option.
You know, any metal slides in that for, really scorch ourselves like we used to?
We have some slides on the way for it as well.
Do we have a motion to accept Mid-South Recreation's bid at $14,627?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, Seth. Second reading and public hearing for proposed ordinance amending Chapter 22, Building Sections 22-5, 54, 78 through 79, 82 to 84, and 86 to 89 of the City of Oxford Code of Ordinances. Jonathan?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is a second reading of modification of Chapter 22. Staff is proposing to now require a roof permit to any person, corporation that is trying to install a new roof. We currently don't have nothing in place to monitor the requirements of these contractors installing these new roofs, because we're trying to make sure that everybody is state licensed, something to protect the homeowners. By having this in place, we can then monitor all these new roofing companies that are coming here to Oxford. And the second one is to amend the requirement of the $2,000 surety bond strictly to the building department, because we just think it's really not necessary anymore, because it's so strict now to get a permit, and really $2,000 just ain't gonna do nothing anymore, so.
Yep. All right. So as this is a second reading and public hearing, do any board members have questions about this or have gotten contact about anyone? Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on this ordinance? All right.
With nobody speaking from the public, I'll make a motion that we approve changes to the ordinance.
All right.
Changes to the ordinance. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank
y'all.
you. Thanks, Jonathan. Request approval of a final plat for case 3081 Oxford Farms LLC, Andy Calicut for Oxford Farms subdivision phase 11 for property located at 1811 Reserve Loop, being further identified as PPIN 7948. Robert.
All righty, the subject property is about 58 acres located north of Oxford Way, between the roundabout and the western edge of Stillwater, north of the archive. Applicant is proposing 2 lots, 52.5 acre lot, that'll be the site of the reserve phase 2, and then a 7 acre lot that'll encompass some commercial and multifamily land. Both of those lots meet the dimensional requirements of the underlying zonings. Engineering provided some comments regarding utilities and stormwater in the staff report, and at the May Planning Commission meeting, the commission recommended approval with the 5 conditions in the staff report, and staff recommends approval with the 5 conditions listed in your memo.
I move we approve with conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
One second.
Oh, sorry.
Is this the reserve phase 2?
Yes.
I'm almost, oh, I need to go. I didn't know that it was reserve phase 2.
All right, so Alderman Bailey recuses himself. We have a motion and a second to approve the final plat for case 3081. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. Request approval of a final plat for case 3082 Oxford Farms LLC, Andy Calicut for Oxford Farms Phase 2, Lot 2 for property located at 319 Cottage View, being further identified as PPIN 35714. Robert?
Okay. Subject property is Lot 2, Oxford Farms Phase 2, located south of Farmview Drive and is about 6.5 acres. The lot is the site of the cottages, which was previously approved in February 22, and these are some minor adjustments to the plat that will remove a portion of the utility easement, add an egress easement for Creekside, and revise a drainage easement and some stormwater language. Nothing's really changing physically with the lot, and the lot will still comply with setbacks and the massing provisions for the previously approved site plan. Engineering provided some comments regarding stormwater, and the Planning Commission recommended approval with 4 conditions to the staff report, and staff recommends approval with the 4 conditions in your memo.
I move we approve with conditions.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, sir. All right, request approval of a final plat for case 3085, CB Holdings LLC, Larry Britt for Gardens of Grand Oaks Phase 2 for property located in Augusta Drive, being further identified as PPIN 25982. Angie.
Thank you. The subject property is located within the original Grand Oaks PUD with underlying zoning of suburban residential and estate residential. The addition includes 11 single-family lots located on the extension of Augusta Drive. All the proposed lots meet the minimum size requirements for both SR and ER. Engineering provided comments regarding stormwater that may be accessed in the planning staff report. The Planning Commission voted to recommend approval at the May 13th meeting with the 4 conditions listed in the staff report. Since the meeting, the applicant discussed minor technical change to the boundary with staff. Staff advised the applicant to provide an updated plat with this technical change, which is included in this memo. Staff recommends approval with the conditions listed in the memo.
I move we approve.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Request permission to appoint Preston Taylor as the city's voting delegate for the 2024 MML Annual Conference.
So moved.
Second. Yet again, Mr. Taylor will be our representative. A motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, 22, consider change order number 1 from Whitfield Electric Company for the new Oxford Police Department. Mark?
This is the 4th overall change order, and this is the 2nd deductive change order for the police station project. Instead of purchasing and installing a new generator, we're going to use the existing generator, which is past inspection, and it can provide backup power in an emergency event. Applying this credit, which is around $49,000 to the overall contract price for all contracts, we're $8,000 below the contractor price for the project.
Good news.
But we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, and then we have our added item At 23, Alderman Bailey recuses himself. Consider resolution declaring part of parcel 135P-21-170 surplus, making findings to enter into an agreement to sell property to Magnolia Collection LLC for $227,450.
I put a copy of the resolution in everybody's,
Yep.
everybody's space.
Thank you, sir.
Came in late. This is a 30 by 30 piece property that was owned on South 14th. It's west of the powerhouse, south side of Lamar Yard. We call it the Nukes lot. It's right by Nukes. As you may recall, well, we received 2 appraisals, and the seller agreed, the buyer agreed to accept the value for the higher appraisal plus the appraisal fees. And you may recall that the seller agreed to grant an easement, the buyer agreed to grant an easement access, and Rob Neely has signed off on that language. Any work that takes place on that lot will not result in any interruption of service for utility customers. And again, the sale price is $227,450.
Somebody make a motion quick.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Thank you.
Any opposed? Thank you. Hot dog. All right, consider a request from Jesco for approval to work outside of regular hours for concrete pours in relation to the Specialty Orthopedic Group project at 723 Concordia Avenue. John?
Specifically, they want to start pouring concrete at 4 a.m. to beat the heat.
We've done that in the past. I'll make the motion that we approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Will you share with them, John, that if we get any complaints, so we'll have to
Yes.
revisit?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, first reading on a proposed ordinance amending the Stormwater Ordinance, Article 5, Section 98 of the Code of Ordinances.
Yes, so this ordinance was adopted back in 2018. What we wanted to do specifically, which is outlined in your memo there, was freshen up the language a little bit. There were some typos and some grammar errors that we changed just to clarify things a little better. The 2 primary changes of this, we want to eliminate a standalone operation, inspection, and maintenance report, which is something that has been required, but something that has never really been enforced since this order. It requires for each stormwater management facility to have its own report that is given to us. They have to inspect it once a year, hire an engineer to do that, give us the inspection report. It's a paperwork burden on everybody involved. We don't really have the personnel or the resources to enforce that. We still have the ability to inspect through code enforcement, complaints, the normal procedures, if something does come up. So that's one major aspect of that. The other major aspect is changing the design. Right now, we require stormwater management facilities to be designed to convey the 2, the 10, the 25, and the 100-year 24-hour storms. And what we are proposing to do is eliminate the requirement for the 100-year 24-hour storm and just do the 2, the 10, and the 25. The reason that we're pushing to make that change is because when we're requiring storage for a 100-year storm, but the facilities to convey the stormwater runoff to that pond or underground detention system are not designed themselves to convey the 100-year storm. So the water is not getting there. The city itself doesn't require, for like street infrastructure and things like that, we don't even require design to the 100-year storm. So we feel like it creates a more practical and efficient stormwater design that's less of a burden on everybody involved, including us.
I like it.
All right, does anybody have any questions? As this is a first reading, so at our next meeting, we'll have a second reading and public hearing, but are there any questions now? All right, thank you, John. Request permission to advertise for bids for Phase 2B of the Highway 7 South Water and Sewer Utility Relocation Project.
Yes, so I came to you and asked permission to advertise for the one large project about a month back. What we're proposing to do is split this project up into 2 smaller projects to hopefully increase our bid pool. So since this project has ARPA funds related to it, MCWI funds are related to it, we're just coming back to ask you that we bid those separately.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to advertise for bids for Phase 2C of the Highway 7 South Water Main Project.
It's just for the other half of it.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to accept the bids received and authorize a contract for the Skyline Drive Water Main Fire Protection Improvement Project.
Yes, we opened bids last week. This is a project to install a water main down Skyline Drive, if you're familiar with that, down north of Northeast Power, to help our fire flow situation out there.
Moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Request permission to accept the bids received and authorize a contract for the water improvement project on County Roads 322, 324, 326, and 412.
So this is one of our MCWI projects that we'll receive reimbursement on. Basically, it's the Old Murray Water Association down in Shackleford, Bynum Road, where we're going to go in and upgrade all the water main infrastructure to our standards.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? Great work, team. I ask you to consider an executive session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? The board will now consider an executive